talk about it. So this week, Nintendo made pretty much all the final announcements for the Switch 2, like the release and the price and things of that nature. So let's kind of talk about it. And like my past video talking about the Switch announcements, the Switch 2 announcements, I was saying like my dream price range was like $379, and like the high point would be, $399. And the price will be starting at $449, so $450. That's crazy high. It's a major jump, especially from what the original game debuted at. Not only that, but they're saying the games are going to be like $80 a pop. Everything else about the Switch it sounds awesome. They sort of have a whole lot of really cool features, stuff that I was saying that they should have came with, like the first one should have had. It's a hybrid system, so it's a console and like a portable, but they left a whole lot of the portable stuff out of the Switch. That the 3DS had, like Street Pass and being able to like play a game with another person with only one cartridge. There was just a lot of features that it didn't have that just didn't really make sense, and they're kind of coming now to this new one, and it's really refreshing and exciting, but also at $450. I have no idea. Like, I was hoping to get one, but now I don't know. I didn't even buy the one that I have. My friends surprised me with that one year. Like, 3 of my friends went in to give me one for Christmas one year. I didn't even know. They just surprised me. And that was years ago. But to think that it's $450, and then like the bundle, like the bundle's basically gonna be like over $500. Because Mario Kart World, that's the new one. It's not 9, it's World, and it does look awesome. It's going to be $80, so that's like $100 per game. You're looking at basically $100 per game. It's just, I don't know. I have no idea how this is going to work. I mean, to be fair, for me, if I look back at my Switch history, most of my purchases have been Nintendo based. So Pokemon, Smash Brothers, Mario Kart, Donkey Kong, Sonic, some Sonic game. Are they all Nintendo? They all might be Nintendo, like Animal Crossing. So if you spread out like how frequently I bought a game over the overall span, there wasn't a whole lot. So if I look at it like this, I only plan on buying Nintendo's games, then that's fine. But the Switch 2 is already starting off different because there's a lot of third-party support, and Nintendo really hasn't had great third-party support since the GameCube, which was back forever ago. No one even remembers. But once they started with the Wii, even though that like sold like trillions basically, it was so unique that and it also was underpowered in comparison to like the PS3 and the Xbox 360. That a lot of the big publishers didn't bother bringing their games over to it because it was just too unique. And then with the Wii U happened, it also was underpowered, and it had that gamepad, and it was too unique. It was too weak and too unique, and they didn't bother with it. And then the Switch came, and they just kind of were like, we know the drill now. But the Switch also underpowered, but it sold like the original Wii. And so, yeah. I'm not a happy camper. That Direct did make me very happy. It was nice seeing certain things. I like the camera aspect. I I've saw that like the camera is basically gonna cost like $100, and it doesn't look that great resolution wise. And I'm just hoping that we can use our own. Actually, let's get to some key points. So you got the Switch 2 starting off at 450. Okay, you got the games starting from anywhere from, I think they said, from 70 to 80. And then you got the camera for basically $100. And then you have the Switch 2, what do they call it? Edition games. So it's the games you already have that have been enhanced with maybe some better graphics and more gameplay and, you know, usage of like some of the new mechanics, that kind of deal. And, you know, that is, you can upgrade for a fee. So let's say you bought Civilization, because that's one of the games they kept arguing about. You know, I think that game only just recently came out also. But now there's going to be the Switch 2 version, and it's going to have better graphics, and it's going to be able to use the mouse controls, which is the whole thing. And so if you already bought Civilization, you can buy what do they call it? Like an upgrade pack or something like that. They didn't announce the price for the upgrade pack, and I'm pretty sure we don't know what that's going to be yet. Like, that's still unknown, how much it's going to cost to upgrade the current version to the Switch 2 edition. And so there's just a lot of little fees here that are just, it's such an expensive system, and I can't think of a time where Nintendo has been this pricey, just in comparison to like that current market and stuff like that. Nintendo has always been the better value, and I mean, at the prices I'm seeing right now, I just can't say that, you know what I mean? And it might be worth it from what I've seen. This thing blows away the original Switch. It blows away all of these like PC clones, like the Steam Deck and that other thing. Like it's going to be amazing, but it's just going to be so much more expensive. There's no way it's going to touch the numbers of the original Switch. It just can't. Not at 450. There's just no way that's going to happen. Maybe once it gets a price cut, or the inevitable redesign where they make it smaller and price it a bit cheaper, you know what I mean? Or they make a new one and then they drop the original price of the original one. But there's probably going to be another year and a half before they do that. I'm sure it's already in development. Might already even be finished, but you know, it's just these prices are crazy. There's so many problems with the pricing, right? But it does have voice chat, so you don't have to use that stupid app to talk to somebody. You know, Nintendo has been petrified of that with the Switch, almost specifically because you could voice chat on the Wii U, the DS, and the 3DS. So for some reason with the Switch, they were like, no, we're not going to have it built into the system, and you're not going to be able to use like a headset. You're going to have to use this app, which is absolutely absurd. I don't know what the thinking was there, which I think they're also renaming the app to Switch app, because it's been Nintendo Online app, and now it's going to be the Switch app. And they announced with, like, you know, the new Nintendo Switch Online, though, that will be like the GameCube catalog of games. They'll start adding into that. So, and that'll only be for the Switch 2. So, people had been wanting that for a long time. They were wanting it on the original Switch. So, but they've also been wanting like regular Wii games too, like Wii and Wii U, and actually even DS. So, but GameCube it's nice. Like, I was so hyped until I got to those prices, because during the presentation, that whole presentation, which was over an hour long, they didn't name the prices of anything. They just said, they were like, you can buy this, you can buy that, but they named no prices. So that whole time, and I know why they did. They clearly did it because it would have ruined the energy you got from watching the video. Because you would have, if they had ended the video with the price, it would have just completely killed the momentum from everything else you watched in the video. Because there was so much good things you've seen in the video. Like, it's going to be a very powerful little system, and it's just going to be really fun to see how companies are going to implement it, because you see there's already so much support for this one from like the big third parties like EA and Square Enix and stuff. Anyways, what am I? Okay, let me at least talk about some of the things that I'm at least excited about. Like I said, the voice chat, that's nice. I always complained about that. It was just, that's going to be fun. And the camera, I'm excited to see how they're going to use that. But what they showed was really neat. It was basically almost like it can automatically overlay you into a game, into an environment. It can just remove the background. That's kind of neat. What it can do, for what I imagine, like in console streaming, will be really, really neat. It'll take so much of like the middle work out, having so many like capabilities with that camera. However, the question is if you'll be able to use your own camera. So I know that it's going to use USB-C, and so I thought, it would be neat if we could use our own. But then, like, who has a USB-C webcam? So you would have to buy a converter, and even like, would that even work? And so, but it would be really neat if it did work that way, because that way you could get like, could you imagine having like a super high, like 1080p 4K webcam? It would just be, it would look awesome. But you know, the one they're going to give you is going to be like, or the one they're selling is going to be like 720, 180 tops. You know what I mean? It's going to be like the bare minimum. And of course they're upcharging it. There's no way that the webcam that we've seen anyway is worth $100. Even they showed off. And you know what's funny? That I noticed that during this entire presentation, they did not bring up Pokemon one time. Wait, I'm lying out my ass. They did bring up Pokemon because they talked about Legends, and they talked about the new one though, and that it'll be for both. And they were saying, well, of course you'll have the Switch version, the original Switch version. You have the Switch 2 edition. You know what I mean? So obviously, if you buy the Switch version first, you can upgrade to the Switch 2 edition. But if you know you're going to get a Switch 2, then you might as well just not even bother. But they didn't mention anything about the previous Pokemon games. That's what kind of bothered me, because I thought, it would be really nice to have a Nintendo Switch 2 edition of Pokemon Legends. Of the original Pokemon Legends, or really any of them. And they didn't mention anything about that. So only just the new Legends game. And what are those called? Like AZ? Why? Like, we got Pokemon Legends Arceus, right? Arceus. And now it's Pokemon Legends AZ. And I can't remember if they're kind of trying to do like to separate it. You know what I mean? Like, there's going to be Pokemon Legends A and Pokemon Legends Z, or is it Pokemon Legends AZ? I don't remember. Even still, I don't have the greatest faith in what I've seen from that so far. Anyways, since Pokemon Violet, though, I don't have the. That's just such a disappointment to me. Like, Violet and Scarlet are just such mediocre pieces of crap to me. Like, I'm so disappointed in those. And Legends is such a good game. And it's crazy, like, that killed my hype for Legends, because it's like, I don't know. We'll only have time to see. I mean, hell, I might not even get that damn console until who knows when. I'm definitely not going to be getting it this year, I can tell you that, unless, like, someone gets it for me. I'm not paying $450 for that thing. I cannot afford that. I can't even afford the games. $8 for a game, because you know damn well I want Mario Kart, right? Like, that's, of course you want Mario Kart. That's the first thing I would be going for. But you're talking about $500. I don't got that kind of change. No, I don't. So, unless I start making like mad money from my YouTube, anyways, how is it going? How is it? But I'm not going to stress about it. I'm not going to stress about it. I'm not going to stress about it. Though it could use some decluttering. But then it just, once I start thinking, it's like, it just feels like it's so much. So anyways, where are you guys at with the Switch? With the Switch 2, are you excited for it? Are you going to get one? Like I said, I won't be getting it anytime soon. And it's crazy because I figured it wouldn't come out. Normally when they release a major system, I feel like typically we get around to that holiday season. That's when they like to drop their consoles. It's around holidays because that's like, everyone's going to want it. However, it seems smarter to do it this way, with it being so much more expensive. Because I reckon they're not. I don't know. I had a logic in my head, but it's not clicking now. But this is probably better off, so they can monitor, right? Because it's going to be $450. So if it had started at $350, they could anticipate this thing selling out. You know what I mean? So Christmas would have been perfect. But at $450, if they were to like decide like, oh yeah, we're going to sell 1 million in like 2 days, some ridiculous like fast figures, and then it didn't do anywhere near that. It sold like 30,000 or something like that, right? It would be a complete bomb. It would just be this major dumpster fire, right? So summer's great because there's not going to be any like, we're not going to be looking at the numbers too hard. You know what I mean? Whereas in the holidays we would be looking like, what did they do? And like I said, $450, even for like the average person, it's going to be a hard sell. And that's crazy because I know most people will want it though. If you have a Switch, you probably will want the Switch too. But it's gonna be June 5th, which is a day before my mom's birthday. So I was shook. I was like, oh, that's like a month and so far off. Like, whoa, like I was not expecting that. I was excited at first because, mind you, they did not announce the prices. They were just like, it's gonna be available on June 5th, and I was like, oh snap, yes. And then eventually it ended, and there was no announcement of the price, and so I still had hope that we were going to get a decent price. I was like, my nightmare scenario was actually $399. So imagine $450. That's just crazy. And then like the games prices, I don't know how the gaming industry can survive with the way it is going up and price to maintain these. I just don't see how. I just don't see it. You know what I mean? I guess this is probably why, there's so many like battle royale games, because they live on microtransactions, right? So they're free. But if you want any of the good stuff, you gotta pay for it. And those games make billions and billions of dollars every year, mostly because like the gambling system that they come with like loots. You know what I mean? I think Fortnite's the only one that doesn't do that. I think you can just, whatever they release, you can just buy it outright. But with most games, like with Apex Legends, if they release something 9 times out of 10, I've got to buy a pack, you know what I mean, and hope I get that one item, even though they released like 20. They released 20 items, and, you got to pay X amount for a pack and hope you get the one you want, and then you just got to keep buying until you get it. But it's like, where the industry is going right now, there's really no winning for the consumer, right? So you're stuck with these like lifeless, and Apex Legends, I wouldn't say it's lifeless. There's a lot of good lore to it, but the companies behind it are just like, they want to suck the life out of it, right? Apex has lost a lot of players in the last year because of their very shady practices. And it's like, if you want a traditional game, paying $80 for the damn game, it's a hard sell because they only have so many hours of content in them, versus like a battle royale, which the nature of the game is that it kind of stays refreshing because of it's constantly changing because every match is different, right? And I mean, I don't know. I saw that Nintendo has this thing where they're called game keys, right? And this is outrageous, but it's basically basically you buy the physical game, right? So you'll have your case and the game, but the game will only have this key in it. And so you put the game into the system, and it will give you some kind of code to download the game. Right? So this is literally, so that, there's cloud versions of games. This is the same damn thing. But you have to have the game key. Like, these are special editions. But it's like, there's literally no point to this. This is you losing no matter what. Because then you can't sell the damn thing. You know what I mean? Because it's going to be tied to your account. Why would you? What? First of all, it's just a waste. It's a waste of materials. Because if you just think about, like, there's no point in doing that. It's literally just a digital game. You don't need a cartridge to do that. You know what I mean? Like, it's insane. But it just seems like a way for them to try and justify you spending $80. And that made me think about something. This whole time, buying the physical and the digital editions of games have always been the same. But why is that? Shouldn't the digital only version of a game be cheaper? Just by, like, the logistics. There's no case. There's no physical thing. The production of it is inherently cheaper. So why are we paying the same price for it if we didn't have the case and an actual game? You know what I mean? Like, if you think about it, it's a complete ripoff. That's why I always prefer to just buy the game physically, so that way I at least own it always. You know what I mean? Like, when I had my Wii U, I bought a lot of digital games, and they got stuck and locked onto that account. So when I got rid of my Wii U, that was it. Like, I didn't end up be able to get that crap back, and I can't remember the really dumb system they have for getting your games out of that. Like, it's so convoluted and stupid. But I just remember thinking, like, I hated the idea of buying digital games, but it became convenient at that time, so I did it. And never again. If I don't have to, I won't. So that's why all the games that I bought for my Switch have been physical. But if they were gonna do that, that BS game key thing, like, I don't know, like, that's just not gonna work for me. And that's just not gonna work for me. No. I don't know. This is really my rant. It's mostly a rant. I'm pissed about the prices and the direction of just, like, the gaming industry as a whole. Either you're paying $100 for a game, or you're kind of playing like a mindless battle royale where, it's fun until you want to change it up. You know what I mean? And then you gotta pay some exorbitant amount to get something. I don't like it. It's crazy. It's crazy. So either you're playing a game that's pay to win, where you can buy enhancements for the game that literally make the gaming experience easier for you to progress, or you're paying for cosmetics that bring nothing to the game but just an appearance. Especially when you're playing a game like Apex Legends, where the cosmetics are mostly seen by everybody else but you because it's first person. But even still, like, I like the idea of having a certain kind of skin. Anyways, I think I'm done ranting. I'm not getting anywhere with myself. This isn't as therapeutic as I was going to be. I'm just complaining. I guess I'm just upset. It's unfortunate. We'll see. You know what I mean? We'll see how this works out. You know what I mean? I definitely want Nintendo to succeed, but at the same time, these prices, I don't know. And they've also started region locking, I've heard. So, like, right now, if I wanted to buy a Switch, I could buy a Switch from Japan and just bring it over and everything would work fine. Whereas with this new Switch 2, they're going to region lock it. So if you buy a Switch in Japan, it's not going to work with, like, your games here. They used to do that with all their other consoles, but they stopped. And now they're doing it again. And I hear it's because the yen's doing so bad. And so they're like, and mind you, from what I understand, the price difference between the Japanese version and the American version is $100. So theirs will be $100 cheaper. So the goal is to make sure that you don't just decide to buy one from there and bring it over here, right? because you can't do that. It'll be interesting. I don't know. But let me get done with this. I haven't just had a ramble like this in a long time. So let me call it. Hope you enjoyed the video. I'm just gonna end it now. I've depressed myself with this whole conversation. So bye. And also, all the background noises are driving me nuts today. You have noted when I first started this video, we had police siren. Oh, I think I already mentioned it. I mean, am I repeating myself? Just everything was happening, and you hear the birds. The birds are they're singing like crazy, which normally I don't mind. But and we got the neighbors like just throwing around their trash cans. Like what? Honestly, it's been kind of a bad week. If I'm being honest. I mean, by the time you see this, who knows how much further away from the actual week it will have been. But with all the damn storms we've had this week, just storms and anyways, have a good evening. Don't let my negative vibes saturate into you. It's just temporary. I'm just a little frustrated is all. I'm a passionate person. I'm very passionate about Nintendo, so you know what I mean? 450 means that I won't be getting that thing, and that sucks. So even if it had been 350, that would have been a hard sell for me. You know what I mean? It would have still been something I got later on down the line, but it would have been something that I could see in the real possibilities. But at 450, it just isn't. So yeah. Good evening, good morning, good afternoon. Take care of yourself.